Okay boys, so this season we're gonna have solo victory cups, duo victory cups, and squad victory cups. And as you guys know, I have some experience with making earnings from the victory cups last year.
You just chopped him. Oh, that's crazy.
Nej, medkit kvar bro, medkit. Ni skrattar ovanför.
Nej, inte jävla till stress bro. Det är så stress.
I thought I could kill him out of the air, but yeah, he dies to fall.
Oh, let's go, bro.
It's a GG. 1 medkit, 2 medkits, 3 medkits. And this kid was running out, like he wanted to kill me. 4 medkits. Popping my 5th medkit right now. Now this kid jumped there, I killed him. I was like, okay, let me splash once and then start popping again. And then I won. And I'm very excited to have them back. But in today's video, I wanted to give you my best advice for making your first earnings or your second earnings. And I know your attention span is probably fucked, but if you can just give me 10 minutes of your time, I promise I'll make it worth it. So let's begin with lesson number 1. I came back to the game at September 1st, 2024, after 2 years of not touching the game. But somehow I was able to make my first earnings 2 weeks later, at September 16th, 2024. So what happened in these 2 weeks? What did I do? Like, imagine how unwarmed up you are after 2 years of not playing the game. So did I just full grind creative and try to warm up my mechanics? Nope. I decided to focus on the most important form of practice, which is scrims. Even though my fighting skills were probably worse than Destiny Jesus, I did not train them at all. And that's because I knew that with my game sense alone, I would be able to make my first earnings. But game sense and game knowledge in and of itself will not help you make earnings. The reason why scrims are so important is because they allow you to develop a game plan. And without a game plan, you're just not gonna make earnings. You need a repeatable game plan that works in every single game. So this means you're gonna be super consistent in the qualifying rounds. And by the way, the qualifying rounds for the solo victory cups this season are gonna be 3 hours long, not 1 hour like before. So it's just gonna be a standard solo cash cup basically. And if you wanna stand a chance at qualifying for finals, then you need to be consistent. And if your game plan is actually solid, then you can also use it in finals to make earnings. But most players, they make really crappy game plans. Like, your game plan is supposed to anticipate all types of scenarios. So let's say your plan is to land at the Donut District, which is a new POI in the game. That is a part of your game plan, landing at this drop spot every game. That is already like the first step of developing a game plan. Choosing your drop spot. But then you gotta ask yourself, what do you do if 5 people contest you at that POI? Which building do you land at? Do you land at this side of the POI or the other side of the POI? North or south or west or east? And do you try to third party some fights or do you instantly disengage? You need to know the answer to as many questions as possible. That is how you actually prepare for a tournament. And making good plans is not only about the early game, mid game, but also the end game. Because especially in a victory cup format, you need to win that game. Like, it doesn't matter if you get top 5, you need to win. So you need to think about things like heal off, right? Like stuff like that, you gotta plan out the whole game. Now, lesson number 2. It is possible that you get a bit nervous in your tournaments, and that is fine. But if you get too nervous, it becomes a problem. Maybe your hands start shaking, or maybe you get like all stiff and you can't really move. Or maybe you just lose all confidence to make plays that you should be making. Like, it would be terrible if you qualify all the way to finals, only to choke in your final 1v1 because you got too nervous. So how do you remain calm in your tournaments? Well, the simple answer is that you should care less. And I know, this is a paradox. Because if you really care about making earnings, it's kind of impossible to care less. Like, how do you care less about something? And are you not only trying to care less because you actually do care a lot? But I think I found a solution. Instead of focusing on one single tournament, you need to shift your focus to the long term. And if you're watching this video on my channel, then you're gonna go pro. Because I'm gonna help you and I'm gonna make sure that you go pro. Like you might not realize it yet, but I'm gonna turn you into a pro. And the people who have already been following my advice, they're ready to go to the top. But when you shift your focus to the long term, you realize you're gonna get a lot of opportunities to make earnings. Way more earnings than you can get in this tournament. So if you really put things into perspective, then this tournament doesn't matter at all. Because in the long term, even if you lose this tournament, it doesn't really matter. Like, sure, you will have like one bad result, but there are also learning lessons from that tournament and you can analyze your mistakes, you can VOD review, and there's something to gain. So in the long term, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, it's gonna help you. And to be honest, if you lose a tournament, nothing really happens. Like, you just keep grinding and you try again next week. It's really not the end of the world. But that's not the only mindset shift that I had going into the tournaments where I make my earnings. Because yes, I played scrims in the 2 weeks of returning to the game, But I spent even more time going deep into my subconscious mind, and I started realizing why I care so much about winning and why I care so much about losing. And I had to reframe my relationship with failure. Because before, failure basically felt like death. It felt like it was the end of the world. But I started saying to myself, I'm allowed to make mistakes. I'm allowed to fail. Failure is just an opportunity to grow. And so when it came to the tournament, I was not in my head constantly thinking about, what happens if I fail. Instead, I had the mindset that I would just try my best and whatever happens, happens. Lesson number 3. Now before I told you that I quit competitive Fortnite for about 2 years. But to be completely honest, when I came back to the game, I already had spent an entire year coaching people. And I literally VOD reviewed thousands of solo cash cup games. And I think it was pretty useful for me to learn from the mistakes of others and figure out all of the strategies that work. But the most important thing is the mistakes that we make. Because if you make a crucial mistake, it just loses you the game and sometimes the tournament. So in this lesson I wanted to give you the top 5 most common mistakes that people make in their cash cups. Number 1 on the list is awareness. Getting awareness checked is by far the most common way people die in their tournaments. And there are many different types of awareness. Like someone could be camping behind an object in early game. In the mid game someone could crash pad on top of your head. And in the end game someone could break into your box without you hearing it. There are all of these different types of awareness, and awareness is the number 1 thing people die to. I wish I could give you all of the solutions right now, but then this video is gonna be way too long. So I'll probably make a separate video about that in the future. Now, number 2 is your aim. Some players naturally have crazy aim. But if you don't, it's super important that you train your aim consistently. Like you shouldn't wait and procrastinate on buying Kovacs and playing Kovacs for 30 minutes to 1 hour every single day. Because that really could be the difference between you hitting a crucial shot to get a refresh or just dying on the spot. Now number 3 are your rotates. I could probably talk for hours about rotates, but this is actually a very interesting topic. Like how do you make a good rotate without wasting all of your mats and heals? Like one single rotate can fuck up your entire game. The small piece of advice that I wanted to give you right now is that you should always look for free rotates. Just keep the word free in your mind. So when you see like 2 different options of rotates you could take, just ask yourself what seems to be the freer option. And also ask yourself, is it free to go now or should I wait? If it's free, then go. If it's not free, then maybe you should wait. So always try to scout for free rotates. Now number 4 is refreshes. Refreshes are a very big part of this game. And ideally, you don't need any refreshes. Because there's always a risk to getting refreshes and fighting. But there will come a time in your game where you just need some mats, you need some loot. And you need a refresh. And without that refresh, you're just not gonna win the game. If you wait too late to get a refresh, then you're slowly gonna run out of mats and just die. Like by far the best way to get refreshes is by awareness checking opponents. So if you're playing the duo victory cups or the squad victory cups, make sure to use pre-edits and try to awareness check some teams. Like squads is gonna be very interesting. But let's say you're playing solos and you tried awareness checking people but it just didn't work. They had crazy good awareness, right? Then eventually it's time to force a refresh. You can just pretend that if you get this 1 kill then you win the game. Which is basically true, because if you don't get that refresh, then you're just not gonna win the game. And on number 5 we have off spawns. Dying off spawn sucks. Especially in the solo victory cup format where you only have 3 games for finals. Like imagine you die off spawn once, then you just miss out on 1/3 of the tournament. Luckily I made a whole course about the early game inside Fortnite Academy. And currently Fortnite Academy is 100% free. So if you want to join, you can click the first link in the description. But I'm pretty sure if you follow that early game course, you're not gonna struggle with your early game. I don't at least. Like I've always had very good early game plans and I almost never die off spawn. Okay, so those were the 5 most common mistakes. Now let's move on to lesson number 4. In the weeks leading up to September 1st, when I returned to the game, I was on a holiday in Greece. But instead of just chilling on the beach and eating a lot of food and staying up late and stuff, I decided to do something called preparing for the grind. I started off with doing daily push-ups, slowly building my way up to doing 500 push-ups a day. And no, this was not spread out across the whole day, but 500 push-ups in one session, so maybe like 30 minutes or so. And every day you would see me swimming in the sea for hours on end to train my stamina and, get the blood flowing. I refused to eat sugary foods like crabs. Those are so good, by the way. But I did it to train my discipline, and I would mentally get ready to start grinding. I even did visualizations to train my mechanics. Like I would literally visualize myself free building in creative. Like I would do this with my hands. Like actually, I might sound insane, but But you know, if you're obsessed about this game and you want to go pro, then you would do anything for that goal. So by the time I came back home, I was ready. Like I had all of these good habits in place and I felt energized, so I was ready to grind. I also made a more detailed video about how to prepare for the grind inside Fortnite Academy once again, in case you want to check that out. Now lesson number 5. Now this last lesson is gonna be a bit advanced, so you might not fully understand this concept, but I'll try my best to explain. I started working on my belief systems. Beliefs are basically the way you view the world. So someone could believe that life is just amazing, like it's this incredible gift and you can experience all of these wonderful things. Another worldview is that life sucks. Everything is pointless and human beings are just a disease on the earth. Being happy is impossible. Life is all about suffering. Those are all beliefs. Now how you view the world is actually pretty important, because it basically determines your entire attitude towards life. And these belief systems, they become self-fulfilling prophecies. So if you believe that the world is this big chaotic place and it's just a dark place, right? Then you start scrolling through the news and you read about all of these horrible things. Like someone gets randomly attacked on the street, or you read about the ongoing wars in the world. And then your mind is like, you see, I was right. The world is a dark place. But someone who believes that life is this amazing thing, he might go out in nature and appreciate how beautiful everything is around him. And then once again his mind is gonna be, you see, I was right. Life is beautiful. And this is the reason why beliefs are very hard to change. It will take you a lot of time and effort. So why would you want to change your beliefs if it's gonna take you so much time and effort? Well, sometimes your beliefs, they hold you back from achieving what you want in life. So if you believe going pro in this game is impossible, you cannot do it. Pro players were just blessed with the right genetics and you know, there's no way for anyone else to make progress in this game. Like pro players, they were just lucky that they had the right genetics and you don't have it, so you know, like, there's no chance for you. If you believe things like this, then you're never gonna go pro, because your mind will actively work against you. So he can eventually tell you, you see, you did not go pro, and it's because, you know, like the pro players, they were lucky, and you weren't. It was impossible for you to go pro. Going pro in this game is too difficult, you'll never make it. You see, you had no chance to begin with. I hope you can now see why belief systems can actually hold you back a lot from making progress in this game. And that's why I've spent a solid amount of time working on my belief systems and changing my identity basically. Somewhere on the screen right now, either to my left or to my right, or maybe both, you will see some of the documents I made where I just literally wrote down exactly what I wanted to believe. Because I really think this is one of the bigger secrets in life. I call it the reality spiral. This is where your mindset and your belief systems, they determine which decisions you make and which actions you take. And those actions will give you certain results in life and they will make up your reality. And then your reality confirms your belief systems. So let's apply this to Fortnite competitive. You start by planting a belief in your mind. Like, I'm the biggest grinder ever and I make a lot of progress in this game. Like I'm the best player in this game. I have a talent for this game. Even if you don't really believe it at first, just pretend that you do. And then try to make decisions that align with that belief. So if you don't feel like playing scrims and logging all of your mistakes in a scrim spreadsheet, then tell yourself, no, I am the biggest grinder. I'm gonna do this. And so if you actually play those scrims, then you will make more progress. And then you will notice, oh shit, I made a lot of progress. And then your reality is that you played the scrims and your reality is that you made a lot of progress. And so your belief actually gets confirmed a little bit. Like, I am actually a big grinder and I actually make a lot of progress. This is how you strengthen that belief in your mind. And the next day, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna play more scrims, you're gonna grind even harder. Because now you have developed a belief system where you are a big grinder. Now this was all that I have for you today and I hope you learned something new. And if you want to support me and my channel for all of the hard work I put into these videos, then can you please do these 3 things. So like, subscribe and comment WVODs. It only takes you like 15 seconds. Now keep grinding boys and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!